So you're in Atlanta now.
No, Savannah.
Oh, Savannah.
Yeah.
How does that compare, like, to being in Florida? Because I was like, oh, because New York, oh, everyone's free down here. It's great.
Yes.
A lot
Yes.
few people are like not wearing masks, which is great.
Yeah.
Did you consider Florida at all?
I did not. Me and my wife went to Savannah like 13 years ago for a long weekend. She read the book, what is it? Something Garden of Good and Evil, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, whatever it is. And loved it. And she has relatives that go way back from Georgia. But she just loves Savannah. So we went down for the weekend, and I'm like, this place, beautiful restaurants, tree-lined streets, beautiful bars. And then you go down to the Riverwalk, and there's this, a steamboat at night going by, and the food is killer. And then we really liked it. So, cut to 13 years later, New York, I was paying ridiculous property taxes and commuting from Westchester to the Comedy Cellar, which is only 39 miles. Sometimes it would take an hour and a half. I did that for 15, 18 years. So I said, finally, I was like, fuck this. We go to Savannah. I've never felt more at home in a place in my life.
Wow.
Everything is just so convenient. It's everything New York's not. First of all, the price of living is, half of. I was paying $25,000 a year in property tax in Westchester County. I pay in Georgia, and the house is obviously not as nice as the West, but damn close. It's on the nicest street in Savannah. I'm paying $3,000 a year in property tax.
Oh my God.
Pack of cigarettes is $6. No traffic. I used to sit on the Sawmill Parkway at fucking 5:30. I can't believe I did that. If somebody said I had to do it again, I'd go sell shoes for a living or something. But there's no traffic in Savannah. I get to work. My studio's 9 minutes from my house.
Wow, you're spoiled now.
I am too comfortable. But that's not why I'm saying I want to maybe take some time off from stand-up. Chris Rock told me 20 years ago, you got to step away. Everybody's going to step away for her. And I remember Colin Quinn stepping away in LA. He wrote for like the Wayans brothers or some show. I've never stepped away from it. Chris Rock said you have to. And I feel like, again, because I don't have a place to work out every night. Look, this is a muscle. If you don't use it, it atrophies, stand up. And I don't want to be seen like an old athlete who's like, being rusty. Or, he was good a few years ago. I don't want to be seen like that. I'm always going to get the laughs because I can be funny off the cuff, even when I can't remember my shit, which is a lot of times. Last night, I was so rusty. I'm going to my phone. I go, guys, hold on. I hate that
feeling of like, just think of one more joke, Mayor. Like just something.
Yeah, I went to my phone like 3 times, and they were laughing because they know how it works. I'm scrolling through, and they're just laughing at me. So, but I don't want to be seen like that. And you have to write every night. Like when I was on Tough Crowd, every night I'd do 3-4 sets around the city. And we were all down there cheering each other on, a really encouraging environment. And there's probably a club a half hour from Savannah somewhere. But like I said, after I prepare for my show, I get up and I have another little writing gig I do for somebody. Then I go to the studio and do my show. It sort of scratches the itch for me a little bit.
What's the prep like for your show?
I lay on my bed. I do. I do everything on my cell phone.
You rub your stump.
I rub my stump. We use that as the opening. Sometimes it goes better than other time. And I lay on my bed and I read stories for about 3 hours and I grab the ones I like. I edit them right there. I cut and paste the important parts of the story. I have a lot of sound drops in my show that go with it.
Yeah.
So I drop those in. I just write those in parentheses, and then I email that to my producer the night before. So he has everything and he can put it in the teleprompter. So it's about 3 hours, sometimes a little more. And then the next day I just have to put those sound drops on my iPad and I'll check the news again to see if there's anything breaking. So, because it's a daily show, Monday through Thursday. So it's enough. And then I do the show and I'm speaking for an hour by myself, which is more than enough. And then I'm a little drained by the time I get home. And then I wait a couple hours and then I have to do it again. Start looking through stories for the next day.
Were you this focused on like news and current events, like just with your regular stand up? But do you feel like more so since you started your show?
Oh, more so. You can't. Here's the problem. I lean right in my politics. I always did. Even as an open micer, people go, "You're politically incorrect." That's coming around. This was 1988. I'm like, I don't think it's going to be here for. Look where we are now. It's even worse than ever. So here's the problem, because I'm filling that niche. There's not too many funny right wing. You always hear that there's not many funny conservative, which is not true either. They just happen to go into business because they're smarter and they have a family.
They're making money, yeah.
You know what I mean? But
or they're doing OnlyFans, crushing it, selling pictures of their butthole.
Yeah, I wish I could do that.
Yeah,
a few years ago. So now I have to do topical stuff, and people go, "Well, don't you put that in your act?" Well, you can, but it's old in 3 days. If you're talking about Biden tripping on the stairs, right? Yeah. You have a new 5 minutes, but next week nobody wants to hear about it. So now you have a hole in your set when you have to do an hour at a comedy club. And it's very hard to keep filling that. But I always make sure I have a few topical bits. If you watch a stand-up, stick your head in and watch a stand-up, and he doesn't or she doesn't do anything that's topical or current, it's like
they're getting a little crusty.
Yeah, I think that's part of your job, reporting on what's going on today. So that's just how I feel. But it's hard, like I said, because it's also topical and it gets so old. So I sort of try to go after the macro stuff, like gender and race. The bigger.
People always talk about that.
Yeah, so you go after not like specific. You can use some specific stories. Like the riots and stuff. You can talk about that for a few years, but that's what I try to do.
You mean the peaceful protests?
The peaceful protests, with looting and cops die, and so I try to stay on the macro, and then I throw in examples of like a Biden right after he fell down the stairs. I put up on Facebook or whatever. Well, my manager doesn't let me go on because I used to get in trouble.
You can't go on your own.
I would get drunk and I would say shit about Jack Dorsey sucking dick and shit. And then I would get a text from my manager going, "Hey, get off the goddamn phone."
Yeah.
So I put something about Joe Biden, the first president you can assassinate by putting an out of order sign on an elevated door, meaning he has to take the stairs, shit like that. But then you're like, that joke, works for a week and then you got to move on. So it's kind of tricky as opposed to doing the stuff I used to do where I talked about, my family, my wife, my marriage, which is way easier, but I like to be socially, not that that's not being socially relevant, but I always favored the Bill Hickses of the world and the Lenny Bruces and the people who kind of stirred up shit, Kinnison. Mm-hmm. Those are the people I love. Doesn't mean I don't like Seinfeld. Jerry makes me laugh or whoever. But like guys like Colin Quinn who are topical, that guy, turns over material every day. Yeah. And he's so genius. I like those guys. I like almost every comic, even ones that I don't respect. They always have a couple jokes. Everybody does. You're like, God damn it. That's a good one.